I've never really sat and thought about all of the things that would have happened if Voldemort defeated Harry. Well, not defeated him, but actually killed him, because that's the only way he could have survived if we go by the prophecy. Anyway, I've compiled a list of all the things I'm pretty sure would have happened if he'd been victorious, and when reading over it for this video, a lot of awful things would have happened. It's kind of strange to think Voldemort could have won because, let's face it, the story, as good as it was written for Harry to be the winner, to be victorious, like every hero story, except Harry's victory came at great cost. So let's go through every single thing that would have happened if Voldemort killed the boy who lived. Well, we might as well start at Harry's actual death, when Voldemort arrives with the boy's body shouting, "Harry Potter is dead!" Much to everyone's shock and belief. He would offer all of the students and faculty the option to join him or die. Not really much choice there, is there? Even with that offer on the table and open to everyone, is it really an open offer? For example, if a Muggleborn stepped up and said, "Hey Voldemort, I'll join you, but I'm a Muggleborn," it's not gonna go down so well. So let's say those of an acceptable blood status, which is half-blood or pure blood, would be welcomed into the fold, into the Death Eater fold, or Voldemort's army at the very least. That leaves the question of what would actually happen to the Muggleborns. Well, it would be one of two possibilities. The first is that they'd be killed, exterminated, the less of them the better in Voldemort's eyes. The second is something I'd call a fate worse than death. The Muggleborn relocation camp. Now that's basically like a concentration camp similar to those from World War II. The less said about those the better. It's not exactly clear what would happen in these camps, but I think it's okay to assume the Muggleborns would most definitely be put to work. They'd be banned from using wands or practicing magic of any kind, and it's very possible that some sort of magical experimentation would occur in order to further push the boundaries of magic, as Voldemort once did himself. I really do think they would be absolutely awful. Guys, just on a side note, I don't mean to compare a fictional magical camp to the ones that actually did and still do exist. I don't want to offend anyone who may have had relations in the camps, or if it's just closer to home for some viewers. It's just for a baseline understanding of how they work in the magical world. So the next thing Voldemort would do is conceal the knowledge of the existence of his Horcruxes. Now, okay, Harry's gone, but he wasn't the only one who knew of the Horcruxes' existence, and more importantly, wasn't the only one who knew how to destroy them. That means Ron and Hermione would not be kept alive, as it was far too risky to do so. Even if he kept them prisoner, they just had to open their mouths about the Dark Lord's secret, and in turn exposes his biggest weakness, his anchor to the living world. That means Harry, Ron, and Hermione would all now be dead. The golden trio gone. Hermione would have been killed anyway, being Muggleborn, but as you can see, massive changes here already, guys, and it doesn't stop there. Let's take a look at what would happen to Hogwarts. Now, we already know for certain that Voldemort would abolish the houses of Gryffindor, Ravenclaw, and Hufflepuff, as there would be no need for any other house other than Slytherin. Statues, portraits, and any tributes to the three founders will be removed and destroyed. I can't see him allowing the Sorting Hat to continue to do its job sorting students anyway, as there's only one house now, and you can definitely be assured that the selection process for Slytherin will be very, very strict. He set the hat on fire during the Battle of Hogwarts, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him do it again. All Hogwarts students would then have to serve in the Dark Lord's army after graduation. Maybe 4 years or so, before deciding to become a fully fledged Death Eater or going to work in the Ministry of Magic, which would be under the Dark Lord's control too. All of the Order of the Phoenix would be killed, exterminated. There's no way he's leaving any of them alive, especially after taking such a stance against him and the power they all held. I think with his army expanding, he would then proceed to conquer Wizarding Europe. Now, it wouldn't just be an army of wizards and newly graduated students. Everyone forgets one more thing. Voldemort had a huge army of Inferi at his disposal. We always forget the Inferi. An army of animated corpses impervious to pain, and he could basically add to that army with every victim he killed. He would also literally be unstoppable. He'd also want to restore the old ways of practice, rebuilding the bloodlines to be completely pure once again. This means there will be a ban on interracial marriages, only purebloods with purebloods or half-bloods. After 3 generations with children born between a half-blood and pureblood, the line is considered restored. No Muggle will be permitted within the magical realm under any circumstances. Voldemort would also cut ties with the Muggle Prime Minister too, which could alert suspicion on their end. Don't forget, the Muggles could actually wipe out wizardkind if they wanted to, if they went up against them in a war. He would also have created maybe one more Horcrux, as so many of them had already been destroyed by Harry. This is obviously not the greatest decision either, as his soul was so unstable at present, so it's unclear how detrimental the effects of that action would have had on him. Speaking of Horcruxes, I doubt that Voldemort would have wanted to watch his most valued Death Eaters grow old, weaken and eventually die, leaving him with the task to replace them every generation, which makes me wonder, if we take into account that he now has complete and total victory without any opposition, I might add, would he then open the secret of the Horcrux to, say, Bellatrix Lestrange, Lucius Malfoy maybe, so that they too can be immortal like the Dark Lord? Maybe that's just too far across the line for even Voldemort to consider, but I wouldn't exactly rule it out. What would you do if you were in Voldemort's position? Would you give your loyal followers the key to immortality? And what would you change about the wizarding world? Anyway guys, that is what would have happened if Voldemort had succeeded in winning the Wizarding War. Let me know in the comment section if I left anything out. Normally I forget 1 or 2 things, so let me know. Thanks again for watching, I really appreciate the support. Thank you, and I'll see you all in the very next video. Thank you so much for watching, I truly appreciate your support. Everyone, notifications of uploads are more important than ever, so please, if you haven't already, turn those notifications on to make sure you're notified the moment my video goes live. Making videos is what I love to do, it's my dream and my passion. However, it does cost time and money to produce this content, so if you have $1 to spare to support me on Patreon in exchange for some exclusive unseen content, then you can click the Patreon link below or at the end of this video. Please only support me if you can afford it. And make sure to follow me on Instagram at InstaDeanJ and on Twitter at PotterFolklore. Check out my other videos appearing on screen, and please make sure, most importantly, to hit that subscribe button. Thanks again everyone, and please have a great day.